Is the M4 11-inch iPad Pro still worth it after 6 months of use? Let's dive into my experience with it. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. In today's video, I thought that I would give an update regarding my 11-inch Apple iPad Pro. I switched to an 11-inch from a 12.9-inch, which is basically 13 inches. So I just wanted to share my experience with it thus far because I don't think that I have, and just to let you know a little bit about how I have been using it. Two disclaimers. One is that I have been an iPad girly for like 13 years, and I have filtered through different iPads at different times of my life, but I am just your average corporate girly who is obsessed with her iPad and who uses her iPad as a laptop replacement. That said, I think I do use my iPad more than the average person, or at least in more ways than the average person. Disclaimer number two, I am technically not a tech channel, so if you're looking for any type of high quality shots and some type of high quality video about the iPad using all sorts of fancy terms, this is not the video for you. Again, corporate girly, regular smegular girl who loves her iPad, and that's how I'm going to talk to you in this video. So if I don't use all the fancy terms, you know, charge it to my head, not my heart. Actually, in this case, I think it would be the other way around. My husband had been talking about getting his first iPad for a long time. He is an educator and he coaches a lot of sports, and I don't know, apparently sports coaches have iPads, so he definitely wanted to be in that number. So after months, if not years of talking about it, because he wasn't going to buy his own because he's cheap, I decided that once this new iPad came out, I was going to upgrade and then give him my 12.9-inch Apple iPad Pro, which was an M1 version. So that is where I'm coming from, and that is what I was using before switching to this one. I did do an unboxing video on my channel. It was a seamless type of unboxing experience, as is every other Apple product. But I will say, because this is supposed to be the thinnest iPad to date, it definitely was a noticeable difference, not only in size, because this is a couple inches smaller technically, but also in weight, because she's a thin girly, super thin. I'm talking thin enough to where I should not be carrying it without a case, because it does feel like I'm playing with fire. Now, ironically, I'm told that the 13-inch is actually like slightly thinner, allegedly, but when I say slightly, if you look up the specs, it's definitely slightly thinner. So while the 13-inch is supposed to be slightly thinner, I did not go with that one on purpose, and it had nothing to do with it being thinner, because I mean, how thin does one need an iPad to be? I feel like it needs to have a little bulk and a little weight to actually feel like a nice sturdy device. But I was going to be going to an 11-inch, even though I went round and around and around, simply because this one was going to be more cost effective. I was not upgrading or trying to necessarily like replace my iPad 13-inch because I loved it. I just was trying to bring another iPad into play, and I just felt like that was the best decision for us. Fresh out the box, I did notice the Ultra Retina XDR display, but honestly, all Apple products that I've ever had, I know they do have some that they make that are of a lesser quality on purpose, some of them adhering to children and stuff like that, but I just feel like the vast majority, 99.9% of Apple products are going to be equipped with a decent display and some pretty good specs. My first impressions of the M4 chip were that, in a very non-techie way, I did notice that the M4 chip was performing at a better or faster rate than the M1 chip. That is probably obvious, but I don't think it was leaps and bounds better than the M1 chip. However, 6 months later, I do still feel like the M4 chip is performing better than the M1 chip, of course. I feel like it handles multitasking well and better. I feel like it handles GoodNotes better. My GoodNotes is filled with a bunch of documents and folders, so I feel like it is more responsive in that way. And then I'd say the most noticeable difference for me is when I am editing, which I use LumaFusion to edit. I do feel like the videos process faster and upload faster to YouTube. I don't know what people could possibly be doing on their iPads, but I really just don't think I'm using my iPad in a way that would really make me care about how quickly it is performing or not performing. I just feel like, I don't know, maybe if you're gaming or something like that, but I'm not doing those things in particular, so I really don't feel like the speed of it really matters a whole ton to the average person. I've even done a few software updates, I feel like, but I don't think any of them have really made any huge differences. Again, I'm not a tech girly, so take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Also, it's an iPad. Like, literally, it's not a computer, although I do use it as a computer replacement, a laptop replacement, but it's not a computer. It's just a fun little device that I use for a lot of things, but I just don't use it in a way where the chip or the processor matters a whole ton. To name a few, I do use my iPad for digital planning. As mentioned, I use the GoodNotes 6 app, and I actually design and create my own digital planners that I import into GoodNotes, and I just plan that way. I take a lot of notes on my iPad using GoodNotes as well. Occasionally I am responding to emails, coloring, calculating, video conferencing, editing videos as I mentioned, setting goals using Notion, and I use it in a lot of other different ways, but those are pretty much the primary ways that I use my iPad. Again, I did two videos sharing the total of 35 ways that I use my iPad. So check out those videos if you're interested. The only real noticeable difference is when it comes to editing. Going from a 13-inch display to an 11-inch display was a little jarring in the beginning. I have since gotten used to it, but I will say that was the only thing that I noticed that was a little wild. My screen is 2 inches smaller now, and 2 inches is a lot when you're already working with limited space using a video editor. So that was a noticeable change. Again, I've gotten used to it. I don't have eye problems, vision problems, or anything. So it's not like that was a hindrance of any sort. It's just that it's a much smaller device that I'm using. And so it was definitely a noticeable change. Did I ever consider going out and getting the 13-inch? No. Did I ever actually consider swapping devices with my husband? No. In fact, I have really enjoyed my 11-inch. I feel like I have enjoyed it in every way that I was using my 13-inch except the video editing experience. For accessories, I did go ahead and get the Magic Keyboard. As I mentioned before, I use this as a laptop replacement, and so to me it's important to have a Magic Keyboard. This one I believe is made of stainless steel, so I do find it to be better. I'm not using this as much as I used the keyboard for my 13-inch. I have noticed that, but this does appear to be way more solid. It's definitely more aesthetically pleasing, and it just seems more durable. I do have some of my same accessories from my 13-inch that my husband and I share, but really the only accessory that I have that is unique to my 11-inch is this case that I got from OtterBox. They actually sent it to me. I love it. I'm obsessed. I never had a case like this. I have 2 of them actually. I have a black one, which gets a lot of love, and I have a blue one. My favorite thing is that this magnetically attaches, so I can always just detach the 2 if I would like. And then I really like how they have this pencil protector integrated, so I can just put my pencil in here for it to charge, and I don't have to worry about it falling out and getting damaged, which has happened to me with using other cases. Another accessory that I was kind of forced to get that I did not exactly have to get but have been loving is of course the Apple Pencil Pro. If you're watching a 6-month Apple iPad review, then you might already know this, but the new iPads are only compatible with the new Apple Pencils. This is the Apple Pencil Pro, and I was forced to upgrade to this whenever I was upgrading my device. I have been loving this new Apple Pencil Pro. I do have a somewhat clear case on it. It's not exactly clear. That's not what it's technically called, but it's essentially a clear case, and I've been using this for a good bit. So between this case, which I got from OtterBox, the Apple Magic Keyboard, and the Apple Pencil Pro, and this cover that I got from Amazon, I have been thriving. One Apple Pencil Pro feature that I was shocked to find myself really enjoying is the hover feature. I'm obsessed. This Apple Pencil Pro includes barrel roll, a squeeze feature, haptic feedback, Apple Pencil hover, double tap and find my, and honestly the only feature that I use is Apple hover. I love it, especially as someone who uses GoodNotes for a lot of things. Because I'm annotating, it's very helpful. If I were not using any annotator app, I don't think I would care about it too much, but I love Apple hover. After 6 months, it is still performing perfectly. It's performing like it did when it was fresh out the box. Battery life is still good. In fact, when I was switching to the 11-inch, I didn't really notice any real change in the battery life. I feel like I'm still charging it as much as I was charging my Pro. If anything, there's a slight change. Like, I don't know, I feel like I'd be telling a bold-faced lie if I didn't share that there was possibly, maybe I've noticed a slight change, but it's really not that deep. Again, if you go watch some kind of fancy video, I'm sure they can share more specs and technical terms and details about the actual battery life and how the iPad 11-inch compares to other iPads. But as for me and my household, we are just going to share that the battery life might be slightly different. It definitely isn't anything exceptionally noticeable. I think the 11-inch is a strong device. The iPad that I bought was going to be basically the same price as a laptop, but the reason why this iPad and even my old 13-inch iPad really appealed to me was because I could also write on it and use it for annotating, which would be helpful for me as I am a digital planner. Getting my M1 iPad in 2021 is actually what's encouraged me to become a digital planner, and I have not turned back. At this time, this is the newest iPad. Of course, there's an 11-inch and a 13-inch Pro, but this is the newest iPad, and I definitely feel like it is still a solid choice in 2025, obviously, because it isn't even a year old. If I did not edit all of my videos and do all of my content related things on my iPad, I would not have it. I would have a basic iPad, probably a 10th generation iPad. So do I recommend it for professionals and creatives? Yes. For students and the average Jane or Joe, no. Truly, a cheaper iPad will do the trick. You do not need to spend $1,000 or more on an iPad and a corresponding Apple Pencil Pro. I've never tried any tablet outside of an iPad, so I cannot recommend anything else. I'm just an Apple girly through and through. Me and the Apple ecosystem go together real bad. I'm just an Apple girly. I like Apple products. If you are using an M4 11-inch Apple iPad Pro, definitely consider sharing your experience down in the comment section. If you're an iPad person, share your experience. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave those down below in the comment section as well. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give this video a like, subscribe if you're new, and if you're liking what you're seeing, and I will catch you guys right back here in a few days in a brand new video. Bye guys.